you need to put yourself in a customer's shoes and ask yourself and ask your employees if you would come back every day or every week to play this particular site, to use this mechanics, or to engage with this promotion. If your answer is yes, then you are creating indeed engaging experience because you are also probably a professional in this area. If the answer is no, that something is terribly wrong and you have to work with the team in order to make your product looking that way that everyone in your team and yourself would enjoy using every day.
You're listening to 15-Minute Mastery, a show that empowers you with insights from leading iGaming experts to enhance your personal or business performance. The show is brought to you by the AI-powered data analytics platform Blast and supported by tech-driven affiliate and media company Overrated Media, Lala Stars, the leading casino partnership program, and Next.io, the world's iGaming community. Hey everyone, and welcome to 15-Minute Mastery. Today, we're joined by the one and only Eugene Danilov. Eugene is an iGaming expert with extensive experience in customer engagement and CRM strategy. He specializes in driving superior customer experience through innovative digital strategies. We're excited to explore his insights on customer engagement in iGaming. Welcome, Eugene.
Hi, Dima. Thanks for having me here.
Awesome. For me, you're one of the world leading CRM experts, and I know you for many years, and I always, been studying and trying to extract as much knowledge of your head as possible. So let's do it now officially for everyone else involved in this industry. Let's start with the fundamentals. What are some do's and don'ts that operators should be aware to create an engaging experience in iGaming?
That's a great question, and I'll also start with the basics. When I've been thinking what this could be, I came to the conclusion that in fact, that the number one do's, and in fact, no one does it. No one does it in my experience, that no one is using his own product and no one is making their employees to use his own product. So at the end of the day, you need to put yourself in a customer's shoes and ask yourself and ask your employees if you would come back every day or every week to play this particular site, to use this mechanics, or to engage with this promotion. If your answer is yes, then you are creating indeed engaging experience because you are also probably a professional in this area. If the answer is no, that something is terribly wrong and you have to work with the team in order to make your product looking that way that everyone in your team and yourself would enjoy using every day. In terms of don'ts, I come to the conclusion that no one should exclusively rely on proprietary developments. Shop around at the market where innovations are being created by very small agile teams and try to use or acquire third-party developers to bring novelties faster than your competitor does it. Because at the end of the day, customer attention span is decreasing year by year, and most money will be at the pockets of those operators who bring novelties faster than others.
Wow, I absolutely love it, especially the fact that, your teammates should use the product. And, I remember Denise Coates and some of the quotes she given to the press that she used to sit at, the customer service desk and try to, reply to the customer inquiries, because this is something which gives you like a real touch with the customer. So I absolutely love it, Eugene.
And that's why it's important. And my extreme gratitude comes to those types of employees who make their careers from the very low positions in the company, since their knowledge base is drastically increasing step by step, and they know how the company works from bottom up. And that's why probably more successful C-levels managers always comes from customer support.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. So looking at successful customer engagement strategies, what key metrics should operators track beyond traditional revenue indicators? Is there any metric that you consider to be way overrated?
I appreciate a lot you're asking this particular question, since I've been thinking a lot about metrics that are hidden inside the business and not being in front of C-level eyes. They came to the conclusion that one of these could be a contribution from 10% of your customers. because you would be surprised how much underrated are those customers who bring most money to your business. And you will often come to the conclusion that there are no special promotions or treatments for these customers who generate a very large chunk of money for your business. And an experience of someone losing 1 grand at your platform is very similar to an experience of someone losing 20 grand. However, the value of these customers is drastically different. And when you start assessing of how much revenue comes from top 10%, you would inevitably start pushing your team to develop additional experiences and additional bonuses for these very valuable types of customers. That's why like a knowledge drives action inevitably. The second metric I would like to highlight is the cross-sell rate. Obviously, many of you are using the products who are offering multiple games at the same time, whether it's casino games, sports betting, fantasy sports. And looking at the percentage of players who engage with multiple products or multiple business verticals is essential, because this cross-sell rate eventually drives retention. And if you can't hook up a player with one product, you will probably be able to do this with another product or with another brand. And that's why continuous driving of a cross-sell across all the product, across all your product portfolio will inevitably boost your retention rates. And the last but not the least metric I can name here is a VIP prediction accuracy. First of all, if you don't yet predict your VIP customers from the day one or even first minute of their customer experience on your site, please do that and develop those machine learning models who are able to predict the potential of customer to become a VIP. And the higher your prediction rate, the more tailor-made experience you would be able to deliver from the first minute, hour, or day there on your website, and inevitably they will stay with you longer. I remember the second part of your question was in relation to metrics most overrated right now, but in front of C-level eyes. And I think that could be this day 1, day 7, day 30 retention rates, because this metric always ignore a value of these customers you are retaining. And at the end of the day, you might find out that those customers you successfully retain do not generate any NGR or generate negative NGR. And as a consequence, you spend money and efforts of your team engaging with lots of customers who generate zero value from you. And probably the key to success is to shift the focus from engaging with large masses to engaging with these top 10% customers.
Wow, I absolutely love your answer, and I think this has been probably the most compelling answer to the key metrics I've ever heard. But I want to go a little bit deeper and try to extract a little bit of value from two particular pieces. The first one is retention, and the second VIP. But I will start with retention. So I wanted to hear your thoughts on the main retention drivers in 2024, probably 2025 next year. But what is it? Is this bonus? Is this branding? Is this UX? Maybe a combination of all them all. But like how does this change per territory? Like what are your thoughts?
Mm-hmm. So indeed, if we speak about 2024, 2025, I see an emerging trend that the real driver of retention shifts from bonus strategy and even branding strategy to personalization and gamification. Simply because of the reason I've named before, because our attention span decreases year by year. And in fact, you are competing for customers' eyes, and they can engage their eyes watching Netflix, or they can engage their eyes playing with your product. And that's why if your product delivers ongoing enhancements in personalization and gamification experiences, you would be probably ahead of the competition who do not change and adapt their product as fast as you can do that. So indeed, the answer is personalization and gamification. And one of the reasons is because AI-driven analytics and marketing automation are making personalization a key differentiator in the retention strategies today and, of course, next year. Also, I can see an increase in demand to real-time engagements from the customer side, able to change experience here and now. So a customer does not want to wait anymore for the email or SMS coming next day or even next week. They want something to happen right now as they play your site before they go away. Um, I remember you was asking about key differences in retention strategies by geos. And of course, there are certain adjustments you have to make to your gamification and engagement strategy. For example, European customers, if you look at our portfolio, for example, of course they trust to good branding, they rely on and they expect very good localization and very good user experience and payouts which are working light and fast. If we look at the Asian region, for example, of course, the key focus would be high roller experience there. And personalized bonuses and gamification would be extremely effective when you engage with high rollers. If we would look at the Latin America region, mobile optimization would be pivotal, of course, and providing locally relevant payment options such as Pix would be absolutely essential in order for you to survive, because they would not even consider playing at the platform that does not provide their favorite and their most reliable, probably, payment experience in the country. The last but not the least, North America. North America, there is a chance to win there by integrating sports betting and casino offerings to drive cross-sell. And as I said before, cross-sell drives eventually retention. And of course, we see that the gamification, leaderboards, and innovative promotions you haven't been trying before matter for demanding North American customers.
Well, that's super valuable, to be honest. And I think, the approach you're given in regards to the territories, and especially, like we touched a little bit the next year and AI, I think this is super valuable because if you think about AI and automation, it dramatically improves your operational efficiency and as a fact, it decreases your costs. So I think, in regards to retention and customer service, this is probably a key because the more you scale your brand, the more your customer base grows, the more you need to invest into retain these customers. But, the techniques which you mentioned are really effective and will allow you to, save and at the same time remain yet efficient. So I absolutely love it. I want to touch really fast on the VAPs because I really like what you said about the 10% of the customers. And I don't think that many organizations pay enough of attention to these customers. So I really wanted to ask you a few questions. So the first one is like, how do you segment VIPs? Like, is this GGR? Is this deposit? Is this the stake? What do you think is most effective? And how does the segmentation change from the small European markets to massive markets such as like North America or Brazil? I really like the way you kind of put it in regards to the territories.
Well, if you talk about engagement in general, in particular, making a good engagements for your top 10% slash VIPs, it's essential to make your segmentation transparent to players and ensure the sense of progression is delivered to every single customer coming to your platform. So what I mean by the sense of progression, the more they play, the more they are rewarded. That should be the feeling a customer is entering your platform and exiting your platform. The more I play, the more I get from these guys. And that's why segmentation per GGR will be extremely effective. Why? Because it delivers transparency in a way that when a player knows when every single bet will get him closer to the next rewarding experience. And the current trend in the industry is to provide a progression ladder straight on the website, split it by GGR levels. So the more they play and the more they spin, the closer they to the next level with new perks to be unlocked at this level. But of course, behind the scenes, you can still apply value segmentation and play with the cost of particular experience publicly available on your site. But the sense of progression would be key here. And if you talk about region by region customization, of course, segmentation should and can be adjusted according to the purchasing power parity in each country. And of course, the portrait of VIP is very different in Portugal to a portrait of VIP in Brazil because of the purchasing power of people living in the country. And that's why this progression ladder built with a GGR metric inside should be simply adjusted according to purchasing capacity. Being down to earth, it means that someone lost $5,000 a week might be considered VIP in Portugal, but only losing a $1,000 a week might make you a VIP in Brazil.
Wow, I think this is something which I've never considered previously myself, and I think many companies out there will definitely find this approach useful. And the segmentation of VAPs is probably a very important topic because, like as you mentioned, you might end up with 15,000 VAPs, which doesn't make any sense because in reality this could have been just like 15. So I think your approach is really making a lot of sense. Thanks a lot for sharing your wisdom with us, Eugene. I really enjoyed our conversation, and I'm 100% sure that every listener will find it valuable and, the most importantly, immediately applicable to their businesses. Thanks, Eugene.
Thanks for having me here. The pleasure is always mine.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Bye.